What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another movie review. Today I'm going to be reviewing a sequel that I don't think anybody asked for, including myself. I love the original movie, but I never asked for this sequel. That is Don't Breathe 2. Not directed by Fede Alvarez, he did the first one, instead directed by Rodo Sayugs, and it stars Stephen Lang from the original film. This sequel is set 8 years later in the future, following the initial deadly home invasion where Norman Nordstrom lives in quiet solace until his past sins catch up to him. So back in 2016, the original Don't Breathe film came out, and I saw that film in theaters and reviewed it on the channel, and I loved it. It came out of nowhere. It had a simple premise, a home invasion film thriller with Stephen Lang as this blind old man. Just a brilliant film that I think didn't need a sequel. And now, hearing a few years later that the sequel was coming out, and I really didn't know what to think of it, and I really wasn't excited for it. Because the ending where the first film left off, it really felt like a nice, perfect ending that I felt like if we got a sequel, it would ruin that perfect ending. And so now, after watching Don't Breathe 2, the sequel, what did I think of this sequel? Is this really bad? Is it better than the original, or is it just okay? I thought it was okay. I surprisingly didn't hate this movie. I thought it was fine. It was a solid thriller, but it was nothing like the first movie. It was nothing like thrilling like the first one, and it wasn't like badass like the first one, but there was some pretty satisfying scenes in this movie. The reception for this movie has been completely negative. People hated this movie. They're hating on the fact that the lead protagonist of this movie is the villain from the first one. All of the horrible things that he did in the first one, just how is he the character that we are supposed to root for throughout this movie? That was the main criticism I saw going in. And while I understand those criticisms, I think the direction they took with this sequel is pretty bold. And I think Stephen Lang as this completely unlikable, horrible human being of a person that's a blind man, as we saw in the first one, some thugs break into his house and he had to defend his life, but he really is the villain killing people. He was awesome in this sequel. The kills he does in this movie are really satisfying, and as this character, they completely know and understand that this person is horrible, that you're not supposed to root for him at all, and they take that character into just a very cool way, and I think Stephen Lang does that very well. But the little girl in this movie who plays Phoenix might have been a huge surprise of this movie. She was actually really good, and she added a good, emotional part to the film next to Stephen Lang's character. And her scenes in here, sometimes they are overacted, but I think in the climax of the movie, I think that she really sold this performance. I think the setup of both of these movies do the best job that they can in portraying what they are supposed to be. Just horrible people all the way around. In the first Don't Breathe, these teenagers, reckless teenagers, extremely all unlikable, breaking into this old man's house who has a big buy-in, and there was nobody to root for in that first one. In the sequel, it's the same exact thing. Horrible people all the way around. Some of the most disgusting human beings you can watch in a movie are in this movie. There are some brutal kills in here, especially one towards the climax of this movie. I got up and was like, oh my god, they went there. I could see this film down the line being such a guilty pleasure for me, because while the film all around is not a good movie in terms of its concept and its awful screenplay, I feel guilty that I actually had a fun time watching this movie, and just the messages they were going for, just the entertainment value. While you're seeing some really horrible people get what they deserve in here, it is pretty entertaining. I was pretty entertained watching this movie and was never bored. But I have to say, though, the issues with this movie are very valid. The screenplay is really bad. There's some really bad dialogue in here, some really terrible writing, and a reveal. By the way, there is a twist in this movie. I won't spoil it. It's really stupid. There was a lot of missed opportunities too from certain character moments, especially with the young daughter in here, the little girl that's in this movie. Some really big missed opportunities towards the final act that definitely left me in question. And I think if they could have taken a lot more time developing these characters, especially with the short runtime, there wasn't enough time given for these key moments in the film. I did think the film was a little suspenseful, but not as suspenseful as the original film, and that was something I knew going in. That original film is like a lightning in a bottle type of home invasion film, but this one just doesn't even touch the candle of pure suspense. I'm on the edge of my seat watching this whole entire movie. Before I give you guys my final overall thoughts on Don't Breathe 2, if this is your guys' first time checking out the channel and you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on this movie, definitely hit that like button and consider clicking that subscribe button. I review movies every week on this channel as well as do ranking videos. I love to talk about movies, and if you guys love to talk about movies as well, hit that like and subscribe button and come join this wonderful community. Don't Breathe 2 is not a horrible movie like some people have been making it out to be. I thought it was just fine. It was a solid thriller. It had some pretty satisfying kills in here. While I am watching a horrible person as a lead protagonist, I really enjoyed Stephen Lang's performance in here. The original film is one of my favorite thrillers of all time. I mean, it turned out better than I thought it would. I enjoyed myself, I would say. On my rating scale, I'm going to give Don't Breathe 2 a C. There you have it, guys. That was my thoughts on Don't Breathe 2. So what did you guys think of this movie if you've seen it yet? Did you love it? Think it was okay? Did you absolutely hate it? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. All my social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.